Yes, Senator, the predicate of your question implied some notion that there was something improper about having a one-on-one meeting. I completely disagree with the premise of your question.
I didn't ask you a predicate. I asked you a simple question. I hope we're going to get through it. Did he tell you what transpired in the 2-hour meeting?
I've had a number of conversations with President Trump about what transpired in the meeting. I was also present when he and President Putin both gave us a sense of what they discussed in the meeting that followed immediately after.
Did you have
I've also had the chance to speak with Sergei Lavrov twice about the Russian view on what takes place. I think I have a pretty complete understanding.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, just one of the many fiery exchanges that he had with senators on Capitol Hill today. Here now to discuss further, Robert Charles, former Assistant Secretary of State to Colin Powell. Currently, he's the president of the Charles Group. Adriana Cohn is back with us as well. Robert, I got to ask you, did we learn anything through another explosive hearing on Capitol Hill?
You know, I guess I look at this as the evolution of a relationship between the White House and the Department of State and the Hill. What I credit Mike Pompeo with is that as a secretary, he is working to cultivate this relationship with the Hill. This is a very partisan moment, but, you know, to be honest, between Colin Powell and Mike Pompeo, there were four secretaries of state, and Mike Pompeo is doing the best job since Powell of trying to cultivate that. Also, remember that all the testimony he gave was cleared by the White House. That's the way it works. So there's no disagreement here. And finally, I'll just note that summits with Russia and previously with the Soviet Union have always been testy. The press conference kind of swallowed that summit, but
Sure.
What he's trying to say is there was some good that came out of it. And remember, Ronald Reagan had 5 summits with Gorbachev. The first one was not very good. And actually, George Herbert Walker Bush had 7.
Right.
And,
Robert, what exactly, though, is Pompeo doing that's so great? What are you so impressed by so far?
I'll tell you what he reminds me of that Powell had, and that is you have to be patient and dispassionate in an environment where tempers are fiery, politics are at the front, and the midterms are around the election.
Sure.
What he's right around the corner. And what he's saying is, look, there were good things that came out of this. At the end of the day, you have to take a deep breath and you have to look at the facts. And he's saying, I'm a capable guy as the Secretary of State. I'm telling you on my word of honor that what happened there was good for the country. And
you can also feel that sort of camaraderie, right? I mean, he was a congressman from Kansas, Adriana. But also he started out, I thought, by answering, before they even asked, the key questions he knew that they wanted. Does President Trump think they meddle? Does he know that Russia's an adversary? Is he going to play hardball with him? What are your thoughts about it?
That's right. I think Secretary Pompeo did an effective job outlining, the terms of how they met and what they discussed. And the meeting was overall productive. You know, they discussed, the 2 leaders discussed creating this counterterrorism council. They discussed finding a joint, resolution to the conflict in Syria, the humanitarian crisis that's underway, as well as, a business-to-business leadership exchange between the 2 nations. And so it's a great first step. And then, Secretary Pompeo also reiterated, an update on North Korea, basically, that
right.
the rogue regime is creating fissile material, which was a new information. He wouldn't get into more specific details, but it's important to take a first step. Relationship building is really important, and we know that the previous administration tried to do that with the Russian reset.
Yeah,
so why can't the current administration do the same?
The button didn't work, that's for
right.
sure. Robert, Adriana, thank you both very much. Now, here's Lou Dobbs.